My name is Malcolm Nichols, and I've been in this business of tanning slink lambskins for all of my life, really. After leaving university, I came to work for my father, Lionel Nichols, in this business. And this is a bit of a history of the Nichols family. The history of LH Nichols Limited goes back to my grandfather, who was involved in tanning leather and skins up in the Northampton area. So it was perhaps no surprise that my father and my uncle continued in that rather traditional trade. After the war, my uncle, Alan Nichols, moved down here to Yeovil and set up a contract tanning business in Brunswick Street. Just a few years later, my father, Lionel Nichols, moved down here also. In a previous job, he'd encountered these small casualty skins called slink lambskins, and he bought a couple of bales and asked my uncle and his brother to process them. There was real satisfaction in taking a product that was a natural casualty of nature and turning it into something desirable. The skins were initially sourced from South America, but when that source of supply became unavailable, one of the first key decisions of the business was to move to buying from New Zealand, where, of course, they had plenty of sheep. Focusing on this specialist niche product, high quality, aimed at quality manufacturers of gloves, was a key to the success of the business. Although there was a lot of supply to the local glove business, it was also important, right from earliest days, that the business focused on exports, worldwide, particularly Europe. That became more and more important as the local glove business gradually began to decline. Meanwhile, the business for slink lambskins expanded beyond the glove business into the garment business, where manufacturers in Europe particularly found a real demand for the lightweight skins with this characteristic curly wool. The business expanded, first moving from Brunswick Street for its main production unit, then over to Milbourne Port, and then back here into Yeovil to this premises here at Nautilus Works. With many UK tanneries struggling to compete internationally, this company continued to thrive by focusing on high quality and excellent customer service. The long-serving and very skilled staff were also a key factor. When the opportunity arose after a few years to purchase the New Zealand company that was supplying the raw skins, we jumped at the opportunity and hence set up what is now Nichols New Zealand. With the wisdom and experience of the key management team, the company successfully weathered many of the ups and downs of the business cycle and continued to maintain an excellent reputation with customers worldwide.
My name's Terry Kerner. I'm Technical Director for LH Nichols, whom I joined in 1991. I've been involved in the leather trade since 1965. To produce a slink lambskin involves very many different processes. When we first have the skins arrive from New Zealand, they are in a salted condition, and the first operation would be to remove the salt, which is done in a paddle. We would then add acid to preserve the skin and also to break the fat cells down over a period of 2 to 3 weeks, where they would then be stored. After this storage, the skins would be brought in, put in a drum and degreased. This would remove all the excess fat which is in the skin and allow us to go on and flesh, which is done on a fleshing machine, removing all surplus fat. After the fleshing, we would take the skins back to another drum where we would tan them. This would involve putting chrome tan in to actually convert them from being a raw material into a tanned skin. The skins would then come out, be drained down, and they would then go onto a wet wheel, which is a carborundum wheel. The carborundum wheel creates the suede, which you can see in the finished product. After the wet wheeling, the skins would go back into a final drum to have the fat liquor put back in, which is a fat to lubricate the skin so that we can continue and to soften them after drying. After the drying, they would be softened on the staking machine. At this stage, we would then send them back upstairs where we would have them graded and sized for different customers. we would then have them back down, put them back in a drum for dyeing. The dyeing can be done to many colours. Again, the skins after the dyeing would be dried, they would be staked, which would be the softening again. We would then put them on another wheel, which is a much softer plush wheel, which would lift the suede up which was created during the wet wheel, for the skins to be sewed and graded to the final customer.
I'm grading for gloving at the moment, 2 tranks and 1 tranks. This is actually a trank, which is 1 hand, so a 2 trank will make a pair of gloves. The 1 tranks are obviously smaller in size, so therefore you're only going to get 1 of those out, so you need 2 of those for a pair. And then you'll get your fittings, which is thumbs and what you call forgets, to actually finish making the actual glove. So I'm actually looking for the wool, make sure there's no blemishes or marks in the wool, and then doing the suede, making sure it's good. Any roughness on there, I'm just taking that off to make it okay. So the suede's got a nice nap on it. And then I just grade all those out. 2 tranks, 1 tranks, and then I record it on the sheet there, and that's for the customer when he has them.
Finally, with the ending of the lease on the factory and the retirement of key staff, we had to face the reality that the UK production could no longer be sustained. As almost the last of the traditional specialist tanneries in the Yeovil area, there was a degree of sadness in needing to close the UK operation. Sadness also for our valued employees. And yet we're encouraged that the business continues to prosper on the other side of the world. Nichols New Zealand Limited is continuing the tradition of supplying high-quality slink lambskins to glove and garment producers throughout the world, so the tradition founded in Yeovil lives on.